Hello everyone, welcome back to this second session of the training program on Introduction to Python Programming and its applications in water resources sector. In the first session, which we have seen how to install Python on our systems and how to create a new environment, and then how to activate it and install various Python packages from the Conda Forge channel in that environment. Hopefully you all have successfully installed Anaconda distribution on your systems, and then run those commands to create new environment python-wrm, and then installed those packages, Python packages in that environment. We may not be using all those packages during this training program. The idea was to make you familiar with the procedure to be followed, and to stress upon the importance of creating a new environment every time when you start with a new project, to avoid the collisions or incompatibility issues between various Python versions and various versions of the Python packages and their dependencies. Then in this session we will and if there is any need when we proceed, if there is any need for any new package, we will follow the same procedure to install that package in our new environment. Now, in coming to this session, we will see Anaconda Navigator, a guided user interface which serves as an alternative to the command prompt for same environment and package management. It gets installed and automatically along with the Anaconda distribution. We will see that. Then we will also introduce you to Jupyter notebooks, for which we will use all through this course for interactively writing the code, executing the code, and then saving and sharing the code with others. It is very suited for beginners who want to try with small lines of code to begin with. We will not be using advanced integrated development environments during this course. At the same time, we will not be using the most basic Python interpreter, which we had seen, which can be used for running single line or multi-line codes, either through the command prompt or through by saving the script files. Then we will start with the basics of Python programming. We will be covering the basic data types in this session. So let's start with today's session. Now, coming to the introduction of Anaconda Navigator. Anaconda Navigator is a desktop graphical user interface included in Anaconda distribution that allows you to launch applications and easily manage Conda packages, environments, and channels without using the command line commands. As already stated, Anaconda Navigator is a handy guided user interface which serves as an alternative to the Anaconda prompt, which we had used in the first session. So we those who are not comfortable with running from the command line commands, they can use this Anaconda Navigator, which gets installed along with Anaconda distribution, which also serves the purposes of managing Conda packages, environments, and channels. Now on Windows, when we install the Anaconda distribution, it will create a startup menu shortcut for the Anaconda Navigator. So just as we had verified whether Anaconda distribution is installed or not by running a command of Conda version dash dash version, we can also start launching Anaconda Navigator from the startup menu, and if it doesn't start up, that means there is some issue with the installation and we have to go back to the installation. Now, it is recommended to keep the Anaconda Navigator update because it is a graphical user interface. Every time you open it, it pops up. If there is a new version, it will a dialog box opens asking you to update. There is another way of initiating Anaconda Navigator graphical user interface from the Anaconda prompt by typing the command Anaconda Navigator, Anaconda-Navigator. Now let us have a demonstration of how to initialize Anaconda Navigator graphical user interface on your system. You can simply go to the startup menu and type Anaconda space Navigator, which will show up a shortcut to the Anaconda Navigator app, which was created when the Anaconda distribution was installed on your system. You can simply click this the shortcut to open or initialize Anaconda Navigator. Alternately, you can launch or initialize Anaconda Navigator from Anaconda prompt. You can open the Anaconda prompt. You can open the Anaconda prompt, and as you can see, the current active environment is the base or the default root environment. However, because here we are just demonstrating the Anaconda Navigator GUI, it doesn't matter which is the active environment. You can simply type this command Anaconda dash Navigator and then press enter. Now it will initialize Anaconda Navigator graphical user interface. As you can see, it is getting initialized. It is loading all the applications. It will take some time. So now this is how the Anaconda Navigator interface looks like. It is this dialog box is asking you to update to the latest version of the Anaconda Navigator, which can be done afterwards. Now, whenever you are launching Anaconda Navigator or initializing Anaconda Navigator from the command prompt, don't close this command prompt. You keep it active by minimizing. Now, on this Anaconda Navigator interface, there are many applications which are useful, such as this command cmd.exe. You can launch the Anaconda Anaconda prompt directly from here by clicking this. Then there are very useful advanced applications like Spider, which stands for Scientific Python Development Environment. It is a powerful Python IDE or integrated development environment with advanced editing, interactive testing, debugging, and introspection features. Now in this training program, we will be only using Jupyter notebooks for writing and executing the code. However, when you are comfortable with the basics of the Python programming and when you start writing long lines, multiple lines of the codes, it is better to go for such advanced integrated development environments, which will provide advanced editing, interactive testing, debugging features. So this Spider comes along with Anaconda distribution. It is a very useful IDE for advanced users. You can even start writing script files and use Spider for execution. Then similarly, there is another IDE available here, PyCharm Community, which is an IDE integrated development environment by JetBrains for pure Python development, and it supports code completion, listing, and debugging. And then there is VS Code or Visual Studio Code, which is a streamlined code editor. It can be used as a text editor for creation of script files with .py extension for running them in on Python interpreter or through command line. Then there are other applications such as RStudio, which we will not be touching here, and Jupyter Notebook. We will be extensively using these Jupyter notebooks, which are web-based interactive notebooks for writing and executing code, saving and sharing them. And then there is you can launch it directly from here, or you can launch Jupyter Lab, which is just an extension of this Jupyter notebook. And once you launch Jupyter Notebook Lab, you can open a new notebook, a new Jupyter notebook. It is one and the same. Now, if you remember in the first session, towards the end of the session, we had installed many Python packages, including Jupyter Notebook in Python-WRM environment. So that is about various applications and interface. Now coming to the package and environment management in using this Anaconda Navigator GUI as an alternative to the Anaconda prompt. You can see in the left hand side there are tabs. There is an environments tab, and if you click this, it will list out all the created environments, base environment and Python-WRM environment. The base environment is the default activated environment, and the current active environment is indicated by this green icon, whereas Python-WRM environment was created by us only during the first session, so it is being listed here. So for creation of any environment, you simply have to use this click this create button and then give any specific name, just as we had given Python-WRM name. And also in Python-WRM name we had specified one specific version of Python, that is 3.8. Similarly, you can do the same here for creation of any new environment. New environments can be created through a click of a button instead of writing the commands in the command line prompt. They can be even removed or cloned. Now these are all now the current active environment is base environment. These are all the installed packages under the base environment. And if you search for packages such as GeoPandas, you will not find them installed under the installed category, because we haven't the base environment only contains some default packages with Anaconda. Now if you want to activate Python-WRM, you can click here, which will initialize, as you can see, the process of activating the environment of Python-WRM. It is same as writing a code in the command prompt, conda activate the name of the environment. The same thing is being done here by a click of a button. So once it is done, you can see that the Python-WRM environment has been activated here, as indicated by this icon, green icon. So these are all the various installed packages under this Python-WRM environment, and you can check for those packages which we had installed during the first sessions, like GeoPandas, Rasterio, which we had installed in this Python-WRM environment. So that is about Anaconda Navigator guided user interface, which can be used as an alternate to Anaconda prompt. But still I prefer Anaconda prompt for installation of the packages, creation of environment. And one more thing is the channels. We missed out the channels. When in the environment, when you are if you want to install any new package, that can be done through Conda installer, or that can also be done here. Like you can check the option of all packages. The all unchecked boxes are those packages which are not installed. Now you can check any package that you want to be installed in this Python-WRM environment, and then you can press on apply here, which will install this package in this environment of Python-WRM. Similarly, you can select other packages. You can also check the channels, the Conda 4th channel. If it is not appearing, you can update the channels and add the channel, and therefore you can do the same installation of packages using Anaconda Navigator graphical user interface. Now coming to the IPython and Jupyter notebooks. In the first session you have seen the online Python interpreter on python.org, and also after installation of Python through Anaconda distribution, we launched a Python interpreter from Anaconda command prompt with the command Python. Then we executed simple lines of the code like printing of statements and then some mathematical operations. So by now you may have understood that Python interpreter executes only one line at a time. So when there are multiple lines of the code, you have to save them with .py extension as script. Such files are known as script files. Now, whenever you come across .py extension files on any system, it means it has Python code in it, and many of them, like when you click on them, they will just open, they pop up, and then they close without you getting to see the execution, because they are running on the system Python, which is on the OS. Now coming back, when you have multiple lines of the code, they have to be saved with .py extension, the script files, and they can be executed in the command prompt by calling them in the Python interpreter in the command prompt with the command Python space name of the script file .py. Then you will get to see the output of that script file. However, still you cannot have data visualization in command line. So Python interpreter cannot cater to the data analysis and scientific computing purposes. Therefore, to overcome these limitations, IPython project was initiated in 2001, in the year 2001, to enhance the utility of Python interpreter. Now, IPython also you had seen you can launch IPython in the Anaconda command prompt with IPython command, and you had seen it has some additional features like auto completion, tab auto completion, then getting help, and then enhanced input output. That was still it had many limitations. So later it evolved into IPython web notebook, then which from where we got the Jupyter notebooks. Now the Jupyter notebooks, which we have been saying from first session, we will be using. Now in this session we will see actually how the Jupyter notebook looks like, with what is the extension of Jupyter notebook files, how we can share them, and how we can execute files. So execute code in the Jupyter notebooks. So Jupyter notebooks are basically web application for creating and sharing documents that contain code, visualizations, and text. So it not just contains the code but also the visualization. Once the code is executed, the output can also be saved in the Jupyter notebook and shared with any other person, any other collaborator. And it also can have rich text in the form of markdown language. Suppose you want to include lot of comments to explain what the code is actually doing, the code description. So it is also possible to have such rich text in the Jupyter notebook. So it is very convenient for beginners. So Jupyter notebooks are not like the basic primitive Python interpreter, and they are not advanced like Spider IDE, etc. So they are just suited for the beginners. Because of many features like the sharing, you can share the notebooks easily, and the output is interactive, and there is big data integration, and also language of choice. Though we are talking only about Python here, Jupyter notebooks can be worked with many other languages, almost 40 languages. Now that is about Jupyter notebook. Jupyter Lab, it is a web-based interactive environment, a development environment for notebooks, code, and data. It is an extension of Jupyter Notebook. It is flexible interface which allows users to configure and arrange workflows in data science, scientific computing, computational journalism, and machine learning. Now, basically, it is an extension of Jupyter Notebook. You can open the Jupyter Lab and start a new notebook. You can go to this URL jupyter.org for further documentation and information about Jupyter notebooks. Now I will demonstrate execution of a script file on Python interpreter and also on IPython. Before that, let us have a look at the working directory where we had installed Anaconda distribution on our systems. In my case, it is C drive users and then comp109, which is the name of the user. In your case, the name of the user will be different. Now take care that wherever you have installed, the name of the folders and subfolders should not contain any any spaces in the names. In the working directory, you will find the folder Anaconda 3 containing all the environments, then libraries, packages which you had created or installed. Now in the same working directory, I will create a new folder and I will name it as Python WRM for writing and saving the script files as well as the Jupyter notebooks which we will be creating during the course of this training program. Now for creation of any script file, you can use any text editor. Advanced text editor is not needed. If you are want to write a simple code, you can simply use the notepad. You can open the notepad and then type the code, the customary print hello world statement. And then you can save it as, you can give any name to this, let us say hello.py with .py extension, and then save it in the folder Python WRM. Now as you can see, a new Python file with .py extension hello.py has been created in this folder. Now we will execute this script file. Now for that, you have to launch Anaconda prompt first. Now again the active environment is base, the default environment. This is my working directory. You can launch Python interpreter as we had seen earlier with the command simply by typing Python and then press enter. It will launch Python version 3.9.12 which was installed along with Anaconda distribution. And then after the prompt you can type any code and then you can execute any single line code. You can execute, exit the Python interpreter with this command exit and then parenthesis. In case if you change the environment, say Conda activate, then the name of the environment Python-WRM. This command will be used for changing the active environment. Now if we execute Python, it will be a different version of the Python as we had created. As you can see, Python 3.8.13, as we had created this environment with specified version of Python. Now we were talking about execution of the script files. Now to execute the script files, the command is Python then space then the name of the script file .py and then you press enter. However, yeah, we haven't changed the name of the directory. The script file is not directly in this folder in the working directory, but we had created a separate folder inside this. So we have to change the directory. For that, the command is cd, which stands for change directory, and then space and then name of the folder Python WRM. Then as you can see, the name has been changed, that directory has been changed. Now you can use the command. Now when you are working with the command line, you can use the upward arrow on the keyboard for tracing the last executed command like cd space Python WRM, and if you want to trace the previous command, you can press it for the second time. So this is the command which we want to execute for the script file Python space name of the script file .py, and then you can press enter. Now this it will execute. As you can see, it has printed a hello world onto the console. Similarly, you can execute, you can launch IPython from here. Now this IPython of version 8.50 8.5, it is an enhanced interactive Python, and it says it has some enhanced features like you can type question mark for help, you press enter. So these are all the various commands or various help features. IPython, it offers a compatible replacement for the standard Python interpreter with convenient shell features, special commands, command history mechanism, and output results caching. So we will not be getting much into this. We will be working on Jupyter notebooks which have evolved from this IPython. So you can quit by pressing Q, and you will see this format of input and output and tab auto completion and other features of IPython again in when you use the Jupyter notebooks. So you can exit by with the command exit then parenthesis. So we had seen how to execute the script files. Now let us see, we want to execute a multi-line script file. Now you can open the folder python wrm and then open your script file. Now let us write a second line and see whether we can execute multi-line script file. Now you can write 2 plus 2, but if it gets executed you won't be seeing anything on the printed on the console. Let us print 2 plus 2, and now you save this script file. Now let us come back to the command prompt. Now I will again use the shortcut, python space hello.py. Now if I press enter, now as you can see it is printing both hello world as well as 2 plus 2. And now in this way you can execute multi-line codes in the Python and interpreter. Now let us move quickly to Jupyter notebooks. Now let us have the demonstration of Jupyter notebook. We have learned that Jupyter notebook, they allow the content in markdown, that is you can have the text along with the code, and also you can have the visualization. The evaluated output after running the notebook can be saved as .pynb file and can be shared along with the text visualization and output with other users who can open such notebooks at their end and edit them on their systems. Now, because the Jupyter notebooks they are run in web browser, they can display images and the maps, which is otherwise not possible in command line. It is very convenient for the beginners who would like to execute small blocks of the code to start with. In the Jupyter notebook also you can execute one cell at a time and immediately the output comes below that cell. It is also amenable for data analysis, exploration, and visualization because data exploration, it involves lot of iterations, trial and error process. And because here you can see the output below each cell, you can make changes in the cell and again come back and then again and again until you get your desirable outcome. So in that way it is useful for data exploration and analysis. However, it is not a very high-end IDE, integrated development environment, as stated earlier. For beginners as well as for teachers, it is very convenient. For teachers, they can create notebooks with all the documentation. They can prepare rich documents with the explanation text, and they can share with the students who can save them for future reference. You need to know one term when you talk of Jupyter notebook and when you want to launch the Jupyter notebook: the kernel. Kernel is the implementation of the Jupyter's interactive computing protocol. And Jupyter notebooks use IPython kernel system. As we had seen earlier, the Jupyter notebooks evolved from IPython project. They are based on IPython web notebooks. Therefore, you will find many similarities with IPython, such as tab completion. If you press the tab button on the keyboard, it will suggest for new code, auto completion of the code. Then help options, input and output format, which will be very similar as we had seen in case of IPython. Now coming to the launching of Jupyter Notebook, it can be launched from an Anaconda Navigator by launching the application of Jupyter Notebook, or launching Jupyter Lab and then opening the new Jupyter Notebook. However, here we will initiate it from the command prompt, Anaconda prompt. You can launch the Anaconda prompt, and then type the command Jupyter space notebook, which will initialize Jupyter Notebook. It will take some time. Yeah, so it has been initialized. A new web browser window has opened up, whereas you should keep the Anaconda prompt active while you are running the Jupyter Notebook after launching it from the Anaconda prompt. So this is the Jupyter Notebook has been initialized. It points out to the present working directory where you had installed Anaconda 3 folder. Since we have started Jupyter Notebook from Anaconda prompt, the Python process will keep running in the background while you are working here in the browser. It needs to be kept open, and if you want to close and end the process, you can close the browser and then interrupt the Anaconda prompt by pressing Ctrl C on the keyboard, and then you can exit the command line Anaconda command prompt with this command exit and then parenthesis. Now let us restart Jupyter Notebook again from Anaconda prompt. Let me activate first my newly created environment python-wrm with this command conda activate python-wrm, and then I can launch the Jupyter Notebook with this command Jupyter space notebook. Again, it will open the web browser pointing to the present working directory as we have seen. Now to create any new new Jupyter Notebook, you can see this new tab on the top right hand corner. You can click on Notebook, and then you can select IPython Python 3 kernel. By default, a new notebook by the name untitled will be created in the present working directory. You can check the present working directory by typing this code in the code cell of the newly created Jupyter Notebook %pwd, short form for present working directory. Now any cell in the notebook can be executed with shift plus enter on the keyboard, and the code will be executed and the output will be generated and will be printed just below the code, just below the cell. You can save the notebook in the same present working directory, or you can save it anywhere else within the subfolders. You can browse to the folders of the present working directory and save it anywhere. I have already created a subfolder of Python WRM and in the present working directory a subfolder notebooks, where I will be saving all the notebooks generated during this training program. I can browse to the folder notebooks subfolder under Python WRM and then create a new Jupyter notebook. Otherwise, I can save this notebook, Jupyter notebook, by clicking Save As and by giving the path relative to the present working directory. So in the present working directory, I have a subfolder Python WRM, which in turn has another folder notebooks. So Python WRM slash notebooks slash, I can name the notebook as sample, and the extension of Python notebooks is .ipynb, and then I can click on save. You can check whether the notebook has been generated by going to the folder Python WRM notebooks, and the Jupyter notebook has been generated here. So by now we have seen how to create a new notebook, how to rename it, how to save it, and how to check the present working directory. Now let us start working with the cells of the Jupyter notebook by going to our newly created notebook. There are two types of cells in any Python notebook: code cell and markdown cell. Code cells are where you type your Python code, and markdown cells are where you type the text using the markdown syntax. You can check online for markdown syntax on how to create headings and also how to comment. It is a good practice in programming to type as many comments as possible for your own understanding when you come back and read the code. Here we are only writing simple one-line codes. However, once you progress, when you start writing user-defined functions and multi-lines of code, you should actually know what the function is doing and what the block of code is doing. And for that you need to add commentary and by creating doc strings. In Python, you can simply add a comment with the hash symbol. So this is a comment, and then here I can write the code, say print hello world. Python recognizes any line starting with hash as a comment, and it will not be executed, whereas the code in the cell will be executed. Now to execute this cell, I have to again press shift enter. So you see the second line has been executed, whereas the first line is treated as a comment. There are two modes where you can operate in a notebook. One is editing mode, which is indicated by this blinking cursor in the cell, and another is the navigation mode, which you can get in. You can press the escape button on the keyboard, and you can observe that the blinking will stop, and you can move from one cell to another using you can create you can insert a new cell above or below, or you can delete any cell, and or you can duplicate a cell with the same content, and you can shift the cells up and down using these tools which are there in the Jupyter notebook. So we have seen how to create and save notebooks, how to convert any code cell into a markdown cell and vice versa, and how to get into editing mode and navigation mode. One more thing is you can download and export your code as HTML file or as PDF file, or you can simply download it. When you download it, it will be saved with the extension .ipynb, and you can share the code along with the commentary with anyone. Just as in IPython, you will find the tab completion. Uh, when we start writing the code, you will see how the help function and the tab completion functions, which are similar to IPython, are there. We have covered the basic essential things which are required for Jupyter notebook. So let us begin with the basic data types in Python. In Python, there are the fundamental data types are strings, then numeric data types, which are integers, float points, and there are also complex numbers, but we will not be dealing with complex numbers during this course, and then booleans. These are the fundamental data types. In the next session, we will be dealing with compound data types, which are useful for which are also known as data structures, which are very important. Um, so we will type the code in again in the Jupyter notebook. You can launch the Jupyter notebook from Anaconda prompt. You can parallelly start working, or otherwise also you will be after the after watching the session, you can start writing simple codes and then executing in the Jupyter notebook. So while it launches the Jupyter notebook interface, we will talk about variables. Variables are fundamental in any programming language. In Python, like in many other languages, there is no need to define the type of the variable in Python. There is no need to declare it. Variables are basically the names that can be assigned a value, and you can call, if you want to call value and use it in your code again and again, you can simply call the name of the variable. And also variables give context to the values. Um, so you have to it is better, it is suggested that you have descriptive variable names, not simply writing a single character and assigning a name value to the variable name. uh, we will see what it means. Let us initiate the new notebook, which will be created. By default, it will be named untitled, and it will be in the present working directory. That is where the Anaconda 3 folder is. I am going to save it in a folder created for the purpose of notebooks. I have, in the working directory, I have created a folder Python WRM, and in Python WRM a subfolder notebooks, where I will be saving all the notebooks created during this training program. So I will be saving I will save it as, I will give the relative path, which is Python WRM slash notebooks slash the name of the file. I am naming it as first notebook underscore basic data types, and I have saved it, and you can check that it has been created in the notebooks subfolder. So you can start typing the code. So I was saying that you have to give descriptive variable names. Um, we will we will see. So I will start writing the markdown as well as the code. To convert, I will be converting this code cell into markdown cell. By pressing escape, I am getting into navigation mode, and then by pressing M, it is the cell is getting converted from code cell to markdown cell. And there, in markdown syntax, you can have a look online. There are 6 levels of headings, so you can use it for better documentation. Um, so first level of heading, you can goes with one hash sign. Similarly, 6 hash signs for 6th level of heading. So hash space uh, basic data types. You can execute this markdown cell just as any code cell by pressing shift and enter. Then the first basic type which we will be dealing with will be strings. If it is a code cell and if you are typing anything with beginning with hash, it will be Python interprets it as comment. Generally, it is a good practice to write comments in your code describing what the code is actually doing. It will help you whenever you revisit, and if you can revisit the code, you will know what you have defined. In the sessions ahead, we will be using user defined functions. When you are defining a function, you have it is you have to document what the function actually does, so you can include the documentation in as a comments or as a doc string. We will see what doc string means. So basically, the comments is for making the code more understandable for even for any, if you are sharing the code with anyone else, they should be able to understand. So this I will convert it to markdown, the second level of heading. We have been printing hello world all along within two quotation marks. It is nothing but a string. In string in Python is nothing but a series of characters. There is no variable type called character in Python. Unlike in many other programming languages, even a single character within quotation marks, quotation marks are known as delimiters. Uh, Even a single character within a quotation marks is considered as a string. For example, I am assigning a value x is equal to numeral 2. It is within the when it is within quotations, it will be considered as a string but not as a numeral. So if you execute the cell, the string 2 is assigned to the variable x, and if you type to know the type of x, you can uh, run this cell. So the type of x is string. Similarly, if it is a multi-character string which we have been using, the type of y is again string. So anything defined within single quotations or double quotations which are known as delimiters, it is a string literal. So we can define a string using a string as a string literal. However, you need to be careful. Suppose there is another quotation mark in between. Say I am defining z as a string with single quotations. They have come a long way. So the Python, whenever it sees a quotation mark, it thinks that it sees as a delimiter that string is being defined. But if it sees a matching delimiter, matching single quotation, it will interpret it as a string, whatever is between these single quotations as a string. But here it is not ending there, but continuing. So it will throw an error when we run this cell, because it will say it is an invalid syntax. So how to get about such things? You have to uh, whenever there is a single quotation mark within a string literal, you have to use double quotations to then it will not throw any error. Similarly, if there is a double quotation mark within the string, you have to use the delimiter of single quotation to define the string. Now, I was talking about descriptive variable names. However, I was using very simple for variable names like x, y, z. That is just because for demonstration or illustration purpose. Suppose uh, you are dealing with rainfall data, and you have list of stations, and you have and the corresponding values of the rainfall. Now if you want to define a name, variable name, and store the variable the name of the station, it is always better to have it in a descriptive form, like name of rainfall station. Though it is a bit lengthy variable name, it is always you should go by this. So for variable, the quotations are not needed. So name of rainfall station, uh, say Pune. So the string Pune is getting stored in the variable name of rainfall station. So your code becomes more readable when you are giving such descriptive variable names, and it will anyone who is reading your code will understand things better. So that is one thing. And suppose you have multi-line strings. How to deal with multi-line strings? Uh, I will uh, I will just take something from net. I will copy some text from the net. Okay. So when we have a multi-line string, it is actually a single line string. The length of the string is uh, high. For creation of multi-line strings, you let us take. Generally, it is advisable not to in Python any line should not. It is advisable not to exceed 79 characters. Uh, So now when I am pressing enter, each line is now it will be a multi-line string. Yeah, now it is a multi-line string. Now how to deal with multi-line string? It is saying end of the syntax error, end of the line while scanning string literal. So whenever it is seeing a, double quotation mark, it is expecting a double quotation mark at the end of the line. However, because it is a, multi-line string, it is unable to read. So there are two ways of dealing with multi-line strings. Let us assign it to some variable name, arbitrary variable name. You can place a multi-line string within 3 quotation marks. That will take care of the error. And you can print A. Another way of dealing with multi-line string is with escape character. I am copying it again. Say B is. Now whenever a new line is starting, you can have backslash at the end of every line. Backslash character, which is an escape character. Python doesn't see as a separate character, and you should put this backslash at every end of every line other than the last line. Then it will not backslash. I was actually using forward slash. So this is the backslash character. Yeah, now it will work. So another way of dealing with with multi-line strings is using the escape character backslash at the end of every line, other than the last line. If you put this backslash character, which is an escape character, it will not, Python will not read it, and it will consider part of the same string. So these are the two ways. Then another, there is a built-in function length. If you want to find length of any string, say hello world, there is a built-in function len, as indicated by the change of color. These are key. Whenever you are using the function, built-in functions, they are shown. They are already the keywords in Python and have a different color code. So the length of the string, you can count the number of characters including the space character. There are 11 characters. In this way you can get the length of the string. Then we will come to string indexing. I will keep another heading by getting into navigation mode and by pressing M, and by pressing enter I will get back into editing mode. So I will use a level 4 heading. String indexing. So each string is made up of characters, we have said, and each character is given a numbered position. And to refer to any character within a string, we have to refer by its index position. So indexing in Python always starts with 0. That is, the index of the first character in a string is 0, it is not 1. You have to be careful with that. So let us see, we have our string, we have defined hello world earlier. Yeah, we have defined uh, y as a string hello world. So you print y, and if you want to access uh, the first character of this string, you can access it by the name of the string followed by the index number in the square brackets. Say first character is h. To access it, you can simply type y and 0 in the index position in the square brackets, and if you execute this cell by pressing shift plus enter, it will print the first character h. Suppose and the strings in the also allow negative indices. Suppose we have a very big string, and you if you want to access last character, one way is knowing the length of the string and accessing it. For example, you say y length of y. This is giving an index error. Why it is giving an index error? Because the length of hello world string is 11, we have seen, and you want to have the character which is at index 11. However, because the indexing in the string starts with 0, the index position of last character is not 11 but 10. So it is giving an index error. So to get over this index error, we can print we can say length of y minus 1. So that will print the last character d. So this is another way is you can have negative indexing. Negative indices are also allowed in strings. That is as the positive indices start with 0 from the left end, the negative indices will start with -1 from the right end. So it will start from -1. The index of d is -1, the index of l is -2, and so on and so forth. So let us see that y, the character which is in the string y at the index -1 is d. So that is about string indexing. Now we will see concatenation, string concatenation. Again, I am going to navigation mode, converting the cell to markdown cell and pressing enter and coming back to editing mode, and then again I am using level 4 heading to introduce string concatenation. So in string many strings can be combined using the operator plus. The addition, what is known as addition in the arithmetic. Here plus is an operator which will be used for combining strings. Say, let us say uh, we are defining variable first name, you take any string with two words, not and then you can combine it. I am defining two variables, last name and you can do string concatenation by with the operator plus, and you can assign it to a new variable full name. Full name is first name plus last name. It will concatenate, and if you type if you print full name, so you can see that both the strings are getting combined and there is no space in between. If you want to include even space, you can have double concatenation. Say full name is first name plus space character within quotation marks and then last name. So we are using concatenation twice in this. Now if you print full name, a new value is getting assigned to full name with space in between. Now while using Jupyter notebooks, whenever you are assigning a value to a variable name, it gets stored and it can be recalled anytime in the down below cells. Because it will remember the cell. Once you execute the cell, suppose I am saving this let us say I am saving this and I am closing down the notebook. Okay, and I am opening the notebook. Say I have shared this notebook with someone else. I have here you can see that the notebook, even the output has been stored. Output has been printed along with the executed output. You can share the notebook, save the notebook and share the notebook with anyone else. Even the errors, everything will be there. However, if you start writing here full name and printing the full name, it is there, it is still there. Suppose I am giving it is still in executed mode, because as you can see, whenever you find a number within this square brackets in and that means the cell has been activated. If you find star or if you find an empty cell, that means the cell has not been activated. Suppose I am saving this notebook and I am passing it to someone else through mail, and if he is opening up the notebook on his system, he may find that and if he start executing the cells, he has to again execute all the cells to recall the values. However, here it is still in the memory of the value the values are still in the memory of the variables, because the cells are still in they have been they have in executed mode only. So anyway, let us continue. So after string indexing and concatenation, let us look at string slicing. Again, I will get into navigation mode, convert the cell to markdown cell. I will press enter to get back to editing mode, and I will write a text with at level 4 heading. Now we will see what is known as string slicing. Now if you want to access any substring, any part of the string, some part of the string, one way is going by concatenation. Like suppose you want to have access say PRA from this string. Now if you see the index of P, it starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The index of P is 7, the index of R is 8, and the index of A is 9. So you can concatenate, you can say full name 7 plus sorry. To access a substring, you can go for concatenation. You are and you can execute it. Substring 1. I am assigning it to substring 1, and I am executing it. And if I print substring 1, it will print the substring which I wanted. But this is a cumbersome process. You have to first see the you have to anyway know the index. But concatenation, if you want to concatenate multiple characters, it is not an efficient way. If a better way is by slicing. Now you can access any part of the string by slicing, by giving the start index and end index within square brackets with a colon. Say you can access the same substring PRA by assigning it to substring 2 equal to full name square brackets. You place the colon. You want to start from the index 7, and you want to go till index 9. However, the second index in the square bracket is exclusive. Like if you say 7 to 9, it will you want to slice this string from position 7 to 9. Let us see, let us execute it. So every time there is no point in assigning it and then executing it. You can simply write print full name 7 to 9. So it is only printing, it is only accessing PR, it is not accessing A. As we were saying, whenever you are going by slicing, the first index, the starting index is always inclusive, whereas the ending index is exclusive. You have to remember this again. Just as the indexing starts from 0, whenever you are using in slicing, the second index is always exclusive. So you have to access substring PRA, you have to go by substring 2 is full name square bracket 7 to 10. You have to go one index more to access, because here now the index 10 will be exclusive, but it will print the substring from index 7 to index 9 excluding 10. So you can print substring 2. So it will be printing PRA. So you may have observed one thing. Whenever you are using the inbuilt print function, it is not printing the quotation marks with PRA. Whereas here when you are printing, when you are just typing substring 1, the value, exact value which is assigned, it is a string actually, it is a type string. It is exactly it is exactly giving you the value which is stored in substring 1 along with the quotation marks. Whereas in print, with print function, it only gives a representation of the value stored. It doesn't give the exact value. So it is valid in case of strings. There it doesn't matter much. However, suppose when you say when you are assigning uh, numeral 2 to A, and you are assigning string 2 to B, and if you run it, and if you print A and also print B and execute the cell. Now it is conveying a wrong thing, that it is only giving the representation of the value which is stored in A and B, which is 2. However, if you see, the type of A is an integer, whereas the type of B is a string. Does this mean A is equal to B? No. Anyway, we are at to come to Boolean. Anyway, I will introduce the Boolean. So in uh, Python, equal to symbol, we have seen the single equal to, which you normally use, is an assignment operator, whereas double equal to symbol is with two equal to signs. It is the equal to operator. So when we are saying, when we are writing this expression A equal to B, it will return a value which is a Boolean. If they are equal, it will return true, otherwise it will return false. So let us execute it. So because A is not equal to 2, an integer cannot be equal to string, so it is returning false. A is not equal to 2. We will see the logical operators, conditional, etc. tomorrow. So then it will be more clear. So what we started with saying, print only gives an representation of the value stored, whereas exact value is you can access by typing the name of the variable and executing the cell. So then we will talk about mutability and immutability. Strings are immutable. Immutable means strings cannot be altered. Suppose you have assigned, I think we have already used hello world and assigned it to y. You can execute it. Suppose you want to change this string which has already been created and created and assigned. If you want to change, how do you go about it? As I said, strings are immutable. You can write it as a comment. Strings are immutable and cannot be altered. So this comment will be part of the code cell only. So this is how you write comments within the code. So let us try to say why you assign some you want to change the first character of this string by assigning some value to it. Say you want to change from h to small h. Okay, nothing more. You want to alter the string. So, and if you execute this, it will give an name error. That is, sorry, it is any string has to be within quotation marks. So it has given name value actually. Let us we will see the errors, various types of errors and error handling afterwards. When I am using h without quotation h, it says name error and name h is not defined. Now the strings are characters. Strings are nothing but collection of characters. There is no character type defined in Python, as we said. Now strings have no independent existence without quotation marks. So unless you put them within quotation marks, it will give name error. So if you type with quotation marks, then we will get the type error. Now why it is giving a type error? We are trying to assign h, the string h, to the first index to the first character of the string y. It is saying it is a string object doesn't support item assignment. That it in another strings are immutable and cannot be altered. This is the takeaway, that strings are immutable and cannot be altered. So how do we go about changing the first character? Now it is not possible to change y. Because it has already been assigned. There is you can define a new string, and you can while slicing we have missed few things. We have seen the slicing part. String concatenation, string indexing, whereas string slicing on. Yeah. While slicing, we haven't done. Suppose in y, if you don't put uh, if you start with 0 index, and after colon, if you don't specify the end index, what it will print the entire string starting from the first index. So it reads as the end of the string. And if in case the first in the starting index is missing, and you say, let us say up to 10, if you want to print up to 10, now it will print uh, exclusive of 10. We have seen that the second index, the end index, is exclusive, so it will print from the beginning. Even if you are not specifying 0 here, it will assume, it will read it as you are slicing it from the beginning, that is index 0 up to index 9. 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 up to L. It will print 10 is exclusive. And one more thing is, if you are not specifying either start index or end index, then it will read it as from beginning to end, and it will print the entire string. Similarly, this indexing, this slicing is we can also use negative indices. If you let us not specify the first index, and up to say -1. So what it will print, because -1 is exclusive, it will start from 0 index, but because the -1 is exclusive, that is the last character will not be printed. Similarly, you can use -5. If you don't specify the second end index, it will see it as it will include even the last character. it will start from the end, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. The -5 will be inclusive. The first starting index is inclusive, so it will also print W. So you will be having world printed. So this is about slicing part, which we have missed earlier. And talking of immutability, now how to change the you can, because strings are immutable and cannot be altered. You cannot alter y. However, you can change the first character and assign it to another variable. You will define ww is equal to, say, the first character you want small letter h, and you can concatenate it to the rest of the string, that is y, using slicing 1 till the end of the string. 1 is the index, 1 is here, that is e. So let us see, let us print yy. So you can see that you have altered the string by through concatenation, by assigning it to a new variable. Um, Again, you cannot alter double y by assigning h to here you to again this string yy is immutable. So that is about string immutability. Then you will come to string methods. Now string methods, there are these are methods are functions are the same. When we have introduction to object oriented programming, you will understand few concepts like methods which are associated with classes, and instances of classes are objects. We will see that. So methods are string methods are associated with the class string. These methods are available for strings exclusively, and they don't have any independent existence. And to call any such method or functions which have a specified purpose, like suppose you want to convert all the letters in this string to uppercase. So you can do that by calling by using a string method yy dot upper. Any method or function in Python will be associated with parenthesis, and here we are not passing any value into this within the parenthesis. Otherwise we will be passing parameters. We will see it during user defined functions. This is an inbuilt function. This is an inbuilt string function. Print and length, etc., are inbuilt Python functions, and they have independent existence. But these don't have independent existence. These are string methods which will always go with a string followed by dot, then the string method. So it will convert all characters of yy into uppercase. If you execute, you can see that it has been done, and you can assign it to a variable, or similarly you will have a lowercase string method. You can convert say full name is a string which is available to us in memory as we have run this code. So earlier cell, so full name is there, and if you want to convert all characters into lowercase, you can use the string method lower. And again, this doesn't have any independent existence. This is a string method. It will always go with a string followed by dot and then the name followed by parenthesis, and you need not pass any value into the parenthesis. So it will convert all characters of this string to lower cases. And similarly, there are few more useful string methods. If you want to suppose we are defining um, suppose we have obtained a data set where unintentionally there is a white space or space at the beginning or end of a string, the name of a rainfall station. Suppose uh, before Pune there is white space and then Pune. This is a string because space is also considered as a character. Now, if you want to remove this space, unintentionally created space during data handling, um, there is a method available. Let us first assign the value to the variable c, and then c dot l strip. L stands for left because we have the namespace in the left, and c dot l strip and parenthesis. If you execute it, it will remove whatever white spaces are there, and it will print the string Pune. Similarly, if say if there are white spaces on the right side, you can directly use this method rstrip and then execute the cell. It will remove the white spaces. Suppose if there are white spaces at the beginning and also at the end, so it is actually a string. The space considering space characters, then these characters PUNE, then again space characters, it is a string. So we can use string method followed by the string, either variable name or actual string itself, dot, then the method here is strip. R strip is for removing the white spaces on the right side, L strip for removing the white spaces on the left side, and dot strip for removing the white spaces on both the sides. So it will again it will remove the white spaces. However, there is no string method for removing the white spaces in between the strings. Suppose in string there are more than one space between two words. If you want, you cannot remove that using any string method. You have to again you have to slice it. You have to remove. You have to do other. You have to go by other ways. So that is about removing the white spaces. And there is one more useful string method where suppose you have a big data set and you want to again the names of many rain gauge stations, discharge gauge stations, a big list spanning over a longer length, and you want to identify, you know the name of the station, and you want to identify whether that station is included in the in your data set or not. So to do that, we will have how to actually, when we go for iteration loops etc., you will be able to use these methods in a better way. Here we are just introducing the methods. Suppose the name of the string, we will use any existing string, like yeah, full name is there. Now full underscore name is the name of the string. You can use the string method starts with. Starts with, you can pass on a substring MA. Okay. it is giving false, because in full name the string which is saved is Madhya Pradesh, Madhya space Pradesh, and M is capital case. Whereas this is case sensitive, so when you are asking whether it is starting with MA, it is giving false. It is not true. So let us run whether it is starting with capital M and A. It will return true. So these again we have these are Boolean values, false and true. These are Boolean, as I said, is another fundamental basic data type uh, in Python. Similarly, we can see whether we can have verify whether any string is ending with any substring. We will take the same example. Full name dot ends with is the name of the string method, sh, true, because the string sh, the string full name is ending with sh. So this is about string methods. There are many other string methods, and one functionality we have talked about, tab. Using tab, auto generation of or auto suggestion, we will verify it here in Jupyter notebook. When we are typing the string, and when you put dot and press tab on your keyboard, so you will have a list of all string methods which are available, which you can apply on this string. Like capitalize, we have seen some of the string methods, like ends with, then is lower. No, we have seen lower, L strip. These are some of the methods, string methods. Upper we have seen. So this is the utility in Jupyter notebook, as well as in IPython, uh, um, uh, which is known as tab completion. It will whenever you press tab, it will search the namespace for any variable objects. When any here in this case, it is when we are after period, after dot, the Python knows that you have to input a string method only, so it is only suggesting all the available string methods. Similarly, tab completion also suggests auto completion of the code, but most of the time we will be using in case of calling any inbuilt functions like string methods. You can call, you need not remember all names of the all available functions. You can call in this way using tab completion. You can also get help option, like when you are seeing these string methods, each digit, if you want to let us see if it gives. I'm just trying how to get help option. Yeah, in case of string method, we will see like length, len is an inbuilt method, and to know what that inbuilt function or method in Python, and to know what the function does, you can simply type help and the name of the function, and it will return what the function actually does. It helps on it is a built-in function, and it returns the number of items in a container. In case of string, if the string is container, the items are characters. It will return the number of characters in the string. Similarly, if we are using it for compound data types like length of a list or length of a tuple, it will return the length. We will this function we will see when we go to lists. So these are the two tab completion and help options are available in Jupyter Notebook. And so we have almost completed the strings data types. We have seen the strings immutability part. We have seen the string methods. We have seen string indexing. We have seen string slicing. We have seen string concatenation. And one more thing, one more thing is there is an input function. Uh, which will whether it is displaying the input function in the string as a string method, we will see by tab. Sorry. Index. There is an input function which takes input from the user and returns the text entered by the user. We will see that in a while. Now how to convert, you can convert strings to integers and integers to strings and strings to float. However, conversion from float to integer is not possible. Suppose you are defining x is equal to 2 as a string. Now to convert x to obtain the actual numerical value in the string x, you can use this function int x, which will return the numeral 2. Similarly, you can convert an integer to a string by str function. If you pass on 2, it will return string 2. So this is how you do the conversion. Similarly, you can convert x, that is string x, into a float. Floating point, we will see the float data type, which is with decimal number. If you convert x to a float, it will return 2.0 with a decimal number. Similarly, you can convert an integer into a float. However, you cannot convert a float into an integer. You can convert, but I think you should not do the conversion from float into an integer, because here it's okay, there is no value in the decimal point. But if suppose if there is a decimal, if the float is 2.56, you are for knowing the integer part of the value is there, you can convert it. The function will work. However, you are losing the precision while you cannot substitute 2 for 2.56. When using in calculations, you should not be doing this. You can just know the integer part of any floating point number using this function. So coming to the input function, suppose you want to say this x is there, x is string 2, and concatenation, if you say x plus x, because it is a string, it will return, it will concatenate 2 to 2 and it will return 22. Suppose you want to do the summation of the value of x, that you can do by using function int x plus int x, which will return 4. Int x is 2. Similarly, if you can also do multiplication. String multiplication is also allowed. It is nothing but concatenation, multiple times of concatenation. If you multiply x with 3, it will concatenate x 3 times, 2 plus 2 plus 2, and it will return 222. Okay. Now we want to have a function. We want to use the input. You want to have user giving an input, and you want to return the product of two numbers by taking the value from the user and then returning the value. You can use input function for taking any input from the user. Say d is equal to input. You can display any string to the user as a prompt. Enter an integer. So if you execute this, so it will prompt enter an integer, and it will ask the user to give a value. You can press 6 and press enter. So 6 will be stored in the variable d, and if you print d, it will return 6. Now one thing is input, whatever is returned by the input function is always a string. It is not value 6 but a string 6. You have to remember this. That is about input, and you can create a function. You can write so int 6, int d is nothing but 6. You can create a function of product of numbers. You can seek input from a user to enter two integers x and y, and user can enter two integers, and you can do the product, and you can return it. Let us see that. Let us try to do that. Let us we are saying e is input, enter second integer. You can include so you are asking the user with two prompts using input method. You are asking the user to enter two integers, and you want to return product of those two integers, because they will any thing returned by input, it will be a string. We have to convert it to int e into int d into int e, and let us say it is stored in f. So let us execute this cell. Then it is asking to enter an integer. It is displaying this prompt. I am entering 4. Then it will ask for second integer, enter 5, and you press enter. Then you are not actually returning or displaying. You could have said f. so that it displays. You are assigning here, but for displaying you have to print it again. So let us run it again. Enter first integer, enter second integer, and once you press enter, it int d, because d when you are giving passing 4 into it, this input function assigns string 4 to d. This input function assigns string 5 to e, and you are converting string 4 and string 5 into integer 4, integer 5, and you are doing the product. You are multiplying and you are assigning it to f, and the last line you are displaying f. So 4 into 5 is 20. So it is giving an output of 20. So that is about input function. Now, finally, we will see formatted string literals, which are known as f strings in strings, and we will finish with the strings and quickly move to numbers. And numbers will not take much time. These are the basic data types, and I think Boolean there is no need to cover specifically. You understand the values, the Boolean as a data type, which there are two Boolean values, true and false, in Python. We will see when we use conditionals and logical operators. We will have a look at Booleans. Now, coming to f strings, what is f string? No, f strings is one way. It stands for formatted string literals. For example, if you want to insert any variable, value of any variable into a specific locations of a string, you can do it by concatenation, but it will be very difficult, cumbersome process. So you can you can use f strings. These f strings were introduced in Python 3.6, and subsequent versions of Python has also this facility, and it is very easy a way of inserting values of variables inside any string without converting even if the value of the variable is an integer, you need not convert it by using string method str method. You can directly use f strings, and you can insert the variables anywhere inside a string. So say so for example, you are defining um, uh, I think we have already defined x, which is a string 4, and e, which is a string 5. Just here we have defined. So say you want to do the product of 4 into 5. So f string always starts with letter f, then the string the delimiter, beginning of the delimiter. You can say you can put the variable name inside curly brackets d times e is again f. So fortunately we already have the values available for us to introduce f strings in a simple way. So this is an f string. This is the string. We wanted to write a you wanted to write a string 4 times 5 is 20, where we want to keep this variable Depending upon you want to print a multiplication table, you can loop it over and you can print in this way using f strings by changing the variables. Here we are simply introducing the f string. Here the value of d is a string 4, the value of variable e is a string 5, and the we want the product of it is stored in f, which is the integer 20. It doesn't matter. So if we execute this f string, it will simply print the value of the variable, whether it is an integer value or whether it is an string value. It doesn't matter. It will print the value of the variable. So you can have 4 times 5 is 20 printed using this f string. We will see the utility of f string if possible afterwards. That should complete string. There are one or two methods in strings. For example, if you want to find we have defined paragraph in the notebook earlier. We can recall it. No, what we have defined? Yeah. We have defined it as we have reassigned value 2 to a. Yeah, this is another learning. Though, so what happens in the Jupyter notebook is it keeps in memory the value which is stored from the latest execution. Actually, I have stored a string, multi-string initially in A, but I have again somewhere down the line I have changed the assignment and I have stored the value 2 into A. Yeah, the value in integer 2 into A. So now the current value is A, is 2. So what we will do is see the flexibility that we have here in this Jupyter notebook. We can change the name of the variable to paragraph. You have to change it here, assignment. However, you have to run this code again, this cell again. So we are assigning paragraph, this multi-line string. I will execute it by pressing shift and enter. So once it is executed, the value this multi-string is assigned to paragraph, and you can print the paragraph. Now paragraph now you can come down. You need not do any changes here. You can just come down and you can see what value is included in paragraph. It is the last executed one. And if you want to find a specific substring inside this string, say you want to find commission, whether it is there or not. So you can see paragraph, there is a string method because it is paragraph is a string. Once you put dot and press tab, you will see the list of all the string methods. You want to use find, you press find. So paragraph dot find, within parenthesis what you want to find is commission, whether this substring is there in the string or not. It is returning 14. What it is returning is, it is returning the index of the first instance of commission. So you can count from here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, the index of C in commission, the first character in commission, is 14. Suppose the commission is repeating again inside the string again. It doesn't matter, it will only return the occurrence of the first instance. So this is the one utility of find function. Similarly, if you want to replace anything here, say you want to replace this string Jal Shakti with a space in between with combined word, a combined string. So you can use replace method. Again, after dot you can press tab and you can have a look at the available. There is these are many string methods which you can explore in documentation. uh, Here we want to replace uh, gel. Because it is case sensitive, you have to be careful. You have to type exactly. You want to replace Jal Shakti with Jal Shakti. Okay, and if you run this, you can see that Jal Shakti has been replaced by another string Jal Shakti. This is another string method which is available for use. So that completes the strings, the basic data types. Now quickly coming to numerical data types. We have already said that there are three numerical data types in Python: fundamental data types, integers, float points, and um, complex numbers. Complex numbers we will not be dealing. Integers, there is nothing much to say. Then float points, you have. So before going into numbers, we can write the markdown. Numbers, which is the second data type after strings. No, actually it should be integers. And floats. For very large numbers, you have exponential notation available for float, where you can use this notation 1e3. It means 1 into 10 power 3. However, this notation is available only for float. So even if float automatically takes the decimal point, so this 1 into 10 power 3 is printed here. Similarly, we can have uh, 1e minus 3, that is 1 by 10 power 3, which is 0.001. So this exponential notation is available. And in case of integers, if there is a big integer, for better readability, we cannot use actually commas for millions. Suppose you want to write a billion, you have to use underscore. So this is 1000 million. So this is nothing but 10 lakhs. Okay, you can have you can use this notation, which is easier to know, easier to grasp the value. Then there are division and multiplication, the normal, and one more thing is when we are operating arithmetic operations, the sum, addition, multiplication, division, if any of the operand is a float, then the result will also be a float. For example, if we are taking 5 and adding 5 to 2.0, which is a float, the result will be a float, that is 7.0. Similarly, if we are doing it in case of two integers, it will be the result will be 7. So let us say we are assigning it to uh, some g, and you are printing g. 7.0. And what is the type of g? Type of g. So one drawback with the code while writing code in Jupyter notebook is only the last line will be printed. So you can insert one cell down with B, then you can verify that type of G is a float, and here H is 5 plus 2, you print H, and here type of H, it is an integer because both the operands are integers. H is an integer. In case if any of the operand happens to be float, the result should be a float, whatever be the operation: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So other than normal division, we have an suppose we are dividing 5.0 by 2, we are getting 2.5 as a float. Now there is one thing called integer division in operation is available within Python. So that returns the integer part of the result. What has happened? You can run it even from here. The integer division, it will return 2.0. So and then there are some other functions which are available, like exponential function, which is represented by two asterisk signs, 2 star star 2, that will give 4 as a result. It is 2 power 2. Then modulus operator, which gives remainder. If operating modulus operator between two integers or float points, it will two integers are it will give a reminder after division. Like 5 modulus operator is represented by percentage sign, 5 percentage sign 3, it will give a reminder 2 as a output. Then there is something called precedence of expressions in when we are doing the arithmetic operations. We have already we know from our high schools that multiplication, division have precedence over addition and subtraction. So here in here other than multiplication and division, the integer division and modulus operators, they have equal precedence. followed by multiplication, followed by addition and subtraction. So when we have in the same expression, if there are these operators, the multiplication, division, integer division, modulus operator, will have precedence over, they have equal precedence, and they have precedence over subtraction and addition. And one important aspect which we haven't talked about is the floats have integers in Python do not have a maximum value. However, floats have a maximum value, and when we reach the maximum floating point, the Python returns INF, which stands for infinity, on the positive side. Similarly, on the negative side, it is minus INF. So that number is around exponential power 400. That up to that level we never make use of floating points. So it doesn't matter, just for the sake of information. So I think that is enough about numbers. There are few functions which are available in math library in Python, which we can use. And one more function is round off function. Rounding off any floating point, you can use the function round. Within the parenthesis, you pass on the floating point, then it will return the nearest integer. Like if you pass 2.3, it will return 2. If you pass 2.7, it will return 3. However, in case of 2.5 or 3.5, there is a concept called ties. Like if you want to round off 2.5, if the digit preceding 5 is 2, which is even, then it is rounded down. That is 2.5 is rounded down to 2, whereas 3.5, the digit preceding 5 is 3, which is an odd integer. Therefore the Python will round it off to the round up to 4. So rounding of 2.5 will give 2, whereas rounding of 3.5 will give 4. This happens in case of ties. Whenever a floating point after decimal, if it is ending with 5, Python has a specific way. It will see the digit which is preceding 5. If it is even, it will round down. If it is odd, it will round up. It is as simple as that. So I think we should conclude the session. We had a lengthy session. We had introduction to Anaconda Navigator. We have seen the utility of the Jupyter notebook, and then we have seen the basic data types, strings, string methods, string concatenation, string indexing. String indexing is important, as we will have the similar indexing in case of lists, the compound data type. Then when we come to data structures, when we deal with lists, tuples and dictionaries, we will see more about indexing. And we have also seen the data type of numbers, the integers, floating points, and then complex we need not consider for this course. And then Boolean data type is another basic data type with Boolean values true and false, which will be useful when we go for conditional statements, conditional expressions in the next session. That is about today's session.